Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Ann Austin, and it is my pleasure to bring quality programs to all of you. I am so excited to be here again with another amazing speaker. This young lady, she has an interesting profession. I can't wait to talk to her, so please stay tuned and listen to this podcast as well as all the podcasts from all the pages. These people are giving out some tremendous information, and so I want you to please take advantage of this unique opportunity. You can't get this information anywhere else. Just in case you didn't know, the purpose of the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast is not only just to network our profession, but we're using this information to encourage working professionals and career seekers to enter their line of work. We would also like to take a moment to thank our corporate sponsors, a family of authors, Butler Armstead Consulting Solutions, Human Resource Learning Center, J&F Enterprises, and Women Offering Wealth, along with our other business partners and sponsors who's helping to make this event a success. So today we have Dominique Walls. She is an empowerment coach and blogger of momsbetterliving.com. With this platform, she teaches and encourages women to live their God-given purpose through faith and accountability. She also specializes in teaching people how to live authentically and how to be unstuck, live with financial abundance, and affirm their belief system. She's a wife, a mother who lives and walks in her daily faith and offers one-on-one coaching, speaking engagements, and one-on-one prayer calls whenever there's a need. When she's not helping her clients, she could be found playing with her one-year-old daughter and having fun with her family. So I would like to welcome to the podcast to know more about Mom Better Living. Welcome, Dominique, to the podcast.
Thank you, Anne, for having me. I'm really, really excited to be able to join you and to, share in on this experience. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I can't wait. So tell us about who you are, where you're from, and how did you get into Mom's Better Living?
Okay, so who am I? I am a personal development and relationship transformation coach. And so it all started, back when I grew up in a little town called Louisa, Virginia. I went out. I went to high school there, and I attended college in the area. And throughout my entire life growing up, I was in really bad relationships. And I also, although I was in bad relationships, I was also that woman who, excelled in everything. And so you wouldn't really believe that I had low self-esteem or confidence because I was excelling in a lot of things. I was in pageantry, so I was always on the stage. But I believe pageantry is what allowed me to wear this mask and to basically live this inauthentic life. And, I sought bad relationships to have that comfort, if I can say. And so I was in bad relationships for years, and then that right there is what turned into like depression for me and anxiety. So depression was really, really heavy growing up, and it carried over into my adult life. And it wasn't until really the end of so I'll rewind. So I got married during a relationship that I was in, and it wasn't until I hit rock bottom in that marriage where I noticed that I was suffering from depression really bad. I wasn't, able to get out of bed. I didn't want to really talk to other people. And at the same time, I had just had a baby. So, I was a new mom experiencing depression on top of a bad marriage, on top of a loss of self-esteem. I was basically suffering through a huge, huge loss of a lot of things in my life. And I found myself one day in my prayer closet on the floor just crying, like, God, like, what is really going on? I really need to figure out how to get out of this hole, but I didn't know how to do it. And so I found my faith. I began, seeking support through the church and through other mom groups. And that is what really helped me create Mom's Better Living, because I was around these other moms who were really strong, who were also going through the same things as me, but we didn't have that outlet until actually being together to talk about it and being able to instruct and teach other women about it. And so now I created Moms Better Living to do just that. You know, it took me a year of therapy. It took me time to really grieve through what I was going through, with my marriage, with my relationship, with my pregnancy, and just with life in general. And finding out how to cope with those feelings and emotions, it was really through my faith, through my church group, and through my mom organization. So now I teach women, teach other moms who may be experiencing the same things, how to use these strategies and how to basically cope with the problems of loss and the problems of feeling depressed and just living inauthentically, because I was living this life for so long, and it carried out into my marriage.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it really wasn't until accepting who I was and accepting where I was in my life that I began living authentically for me and proclaiming that power back in my life.
Okay.
So, and that's what I do now through Moms Better Living.
Through Mom's Belly. Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to first of all commend you on the fact that you were able to find a way out of it. There are so many people suffering with depression. When I grew up, I suffered with depression. To some point, some people in my family suffer with depression, and even maybe one or two of my own children at times suffer with depression. And the key is, like you said, finding an outlet where you can talk about it, or that you can get it out, or you can find a method to help cope. A lot of times, just like you were saying, just like I know from the people who I know, it is difficult to talk about what's going on in your life. It's difficult to try to cope with things that are happening that may or may not be in your control. But being able to reach out as you did and find that, I'm just encouraging. And this is not just to you, Dominique, is also talking to the people who are listening to this podcast, because we have so much going on in our life. Life is already hard enough, and then we add on other stuff that stresses us out, get us all worked up, get us all bent out of shape, and we lose focus on who we are, what our purpose is, and what we should focus on. And so I want to commend you and anybody else who has found that way out, because we have too many people out here suffering with depression. And Mom's Better Living sounds like something that you are providing a need for, and we definitely need that. So thank you for creating that company. So I wanted to say that first, because this is also sort of a soft spot for me too, dealing with that. But not to kind of get too much into the weeds of why you were depressed, but if you can kind of give some indication or maybe some foresight as to how you dealt with some of the depression leading up to when you got into the moms group, because I think that's really key for people to start finding ways to cope and finding ways to get out of the situation that they're in.
Yeah. So like I said, it took some time to figure it all out, but I would say the mechanisms that I used were to first I found my way back into the church. Um, Whether you believe in God or not, just finding a way to be around a supportive organization, I'll say, an organization that can uplift you and motivate you and just keep you consistent. That was very helpful for me. Two, being able to talk to friends. When you're depressed, suffering from a loss, you have a tendency to shut out the world. And it's when you shut out the world that you begin to shut down, and all the emotions begin to feel like weights. And I noticed that once I was able to just hang out with a girlfriend, going, grab a cup of coffee, or go to brunch on Sunday morning, it was like a relief. It was like the weight kind of lifted off of me, and I was able to, share how I was feeling or just escape that depressive state just for that moment. Um, and then exercise and just living healthier by eating. When we are depressed, we have a tendency to eat very unhealthy, sugary food, or just eating not at all. And that right there can also affect our body. And so having someone to just say, "Hey, did you have breakfast today?" Yeah. Having that consistency in my life and just keeping a diary and a plan of what I need to do to eat or to exercise was very, very helpful. So those are just a couple of coping mechanisms that allowed me to cope with my depression. And, never forget that you can seek counsel. There are plenty of professionals out there who can, definitely talk to you and walk you through what depression is, how to cope better with it, and how to move through, move past the depressive state. So always there's professional help as well.
That's wonderful. So, what type of activities do you incorporate in Mom's Better Living that assist people who you come in contact with?
So the biggest thing right now that I have worked on for the past 8 months is my coaching program, and I do one-on-one coaching with women that are suffering with their self-esteem and confidence, or just suffering a loss, whatever stage that you are in, whether you are a mom or that you're just a woman just looking for some help. I do one-on-one coaching, and basically we sit down and we start out by just assessing where you're at, because being personal and just getting to a point where we can trust each other and just know where to start and have a roadmap of where we're going is really, really important for me. And two, part of my coaching is really finding those pain points from your past and being able to really hone in on them and attack them so that we can just get rid of them. We can't ever forget things that have happened to us in our past or our present, but we can work on moving towards our future and eliminating what has hurt us, what has hunted us for, time, and empower ourselves so that we can be better and more powerful and more healthier, mind, body, and spirit. Secondly, we also have a Facebook group of moms that we empower and just inspire each other. We are an organization that is all about empowerment. And we also have events. I just had a women's empowerment event about, I think, 2 weekends ago, where I had some really powerful speakers come and help women with their businesses. And we just talked about, how to start and grow your business. So it's not just about healthy living and just living living with depression or how to get through that. It's also about just empowering and just living confidently and successfully as a woman. And then lastly, I have one-on-one prayer calls, where if you're suffering with something or you just need someone to talk to or pray with, you can call me and we can have a prayer time where we can just talk together and pray together as two women who are going through whatever it is that we are going through. So those are just a couple things that I offer right now in Mom's Better Living, and we are expanding with different programs that reach a wider audience. So everything is on my website, but it's getting more powerful, every day.
That is wonderful. And so, just to be clear, everything is on your website, and then you have a prayer line, right? Or just a let's just talk line, right?
Yeah, so everything is on my website, and the schedule for my prayer request is on my website as well.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Is there any other thing that you are doing that you want people to know in general pertaining to what you do or what you're passionate about? And this doesn't have to necessarily be about depression, as you said, or about your platform. It could be other initiatives that you might be working on that maybe the people who are listening or participating in this podcast could assist you with.
Yeah, so another thing that I just started was my nonprofit, which is Women Against Domestic Violence. I have a fund on my website collecting funds because the goal of that nonprofit right now is to really gain the funds that we need to put on these events for women, and have a location where women can congregate and inspire and motivate each other. So that's on my website as well. And then I'm also expanding my program with relationship transformation. So, two parts of my program, one being, finding your authenticity and rebuilding that confidence, right? And then as you move on and you finally get to a place where you are in love with yourself again and you want to reconnect and find love, we are now going to be introducing in the fall relationship transformation, where I have a program. It's going to be a 4-month program where you are going to meet some amazing coaches and experts that we are going to train you and teach you how to really find and manifest your godly man. So you want to look out for that. And by looking out for that, I mean subscribe and just keep in touch with the website. It's really growing right now, and I'm really, really excited about where it's going, because my main goal right now is to help women out there who are suffering, who don't have a voice, who are looking to regain that voice back. The purpose that God gave me right now was to be that voice for them and to speak up and educate. So whatever it is that God is placing on my heart right now today, I'm implementing within my website. So all the information, if you haven't subscribed, for women out there, subscribe to the website. Stay tuned, because there's a lot of neat things that I have that are going on, events, other speaking engagements that are coming up that I would love to share with you all.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to make sure that that information is on your speaker page so that people can easily access that and make sure that they have access to your website. So, Dominique, I want to ask you a question, which is probably the opposite of what you're doing. Has there been a time where there are men who also seek some of the services that you're doing? And I know that you do primarily women and moms, but have there been men coming to you and saying, hey, I really could use the service that you are providing?
Yeah, so it's shocking because we don't really talk about, um, you know, I'll talk about domestic violence, because that is still a part of my platform, but we don't really hear men being victims of domestic violence. And I've actually had, a couple of my clients who are males who have reached out for that help, just wanting to rebuild that self-esteem and their life after a traumatic experience that has happened in their lives. So I do have males who do need that help, and the coaching is for both women and men.
Okay, found fantastic. So this is a networking event and everybody is participating and listening. What do you need from these folks to help you with your cause?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we can do as a whole is support each other. So by support, I mean, if it's on your social media, we can collaborate on something and showcase that to the public. Collaborations are really, really big for me. I'm really looking for more collaboration. So if it's anything, supporting each other by collaborating would be an ideal thing right now for moms that are living. What we do with the collaborations, I do have a blog. So if there are bloggers out there who are looking to have their writing hosted on my site, or vice versa, we can definitely work together. Additionally, if there are speaking engagements that, need other speakers out there like myself in my organization to teach about the strategies and the things that I know of, we can collaborate on that as well. I'm interested in anything that we can all empower each other on. So empowerment is big for Moms Better Living.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, everyone who's listening to this podcast, this is yet another example of wonderful things that people are doing to help empower, to help encourage, support, collaborate, network, you name it. This is another instance of someone doing something that is impacting another person's life. And so I want to encourage everybody to please go to her website, look at all of the things that she is offering for moms and dads out there, because in the end, we all need some empowerment. We all need to support each other in the end. And just like Dominique said, there are so many people out there that's suffering with depression, that's going through domestic violence, that's going through whatever it is they're going through in their personal and professional life. And it is so important for all of us to have a work-life balance that is going to help us thrive, to help us move forward, and to help us collaborate. And with that, I want to thank you so much, Dominique, for being on the podcast today. I'm definitely going to check out your website and anything that I see out there, because I am pro-life, I am anti-bullying, I'm anti-domestic violence. So anything that you have out there that can be useful to put on your page, I'm definitely going to add that to your page. And I want people to reach out to you and really lend their services to help you with your cause.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anne, for having me. This has been really, really fun and educational as well.
Absolutely.